Greetings and welcome to the Tequila Viking videocast for April 2nd, 2021. I'm author J.E. Park, and you are now an eyewitness to my very first attempt at internet superstardom, I guess. This is the video we're all going to look back at in 10 years and cringe. And yeah, I'm not going to lie. Sitting in my den talking to myself, this couldn't be more awkward if I was doing this wearing leather hot pants and a Hello Kinky crop top. So, here it is. This is the inaugural episode of the Tequila Vikings vlog. So, why does the world need a Tequila Vikings vlog? You know, let me level with you. It probably doesn't. In fact, the world needs a Tequila Vikings vlog like it needs some new variant of terminal crotch rot gleaned from an East African warthog that was way too drunk to consent. So, why is it getting one? Well, someone told me that in order to be a successful indie author, writing isn't good enough anymore. You also need to have a social media presence to sell books. You got to get your message out there. Are they right? Well, that remains to be seen, I guess. I could posit that the odds are even that the same folks encouraging me to vlog out occasional updates on my writing progress would be just as entertained as anyone else and seeing me make an ass out of myself on YouTube. But, you know, make no mistake. If you were in my position and I was in yours, don't think for a second that I wouldn't laugh my little derriere off at you for forgetting to edit out that second knuckle nose picking you did at minute marker 220. Anyway, I suppose that you're wondering what a Tequila Viking is. Well, I was in the U.S. Navy back in the late 80s and early 90s. That was about the time that the fleet was trying to pull away from its reputation as a force of morally flexible hedonists bar-brawling our way through exotic ports of call. It was the end of the Cold War. Communism kind of stopped being the boogeyman beneath the bed, and suddenly the biggest enemy we had to face was monotony. Now, it is possible to shoot your way out of being bored, but generally the brass frowns upon enlisted men being given free rein to occupy themselves with live munitions. So the only thing we really had in our arsenal to deal with the constant threat of mind-numbing boredom was engaging in sublethal levels of irresponsible alcohol consumption, the occasional bouts of fisticuffs against SDSU frat boys or Uncle Sam's misguided children, and spontaneous acts of random nudity. Now, when sober and on duty, we're generally model citizens. Get us down in Tijuana with a blood alcohol level that surpasses our IQ, however, and we became modern-day berserkers. We'd get drunk and fight you, naked if the circumstances required it. So, if Tequila Viking is a Navy term then? Well, not exactly, but it should have been. You see, Tequila Viking was something I came up with more than a quarter century after I could have actually used it. I had just finished my first book. It started off as just a loose collection of misadventures and sea stories from my gloriously misspent youth abroad. Eventually, I developed an actual plot and worked my little anecdotes into a story about a young sailor whose inability to differentiate between fun and felony nearly caused him to spend the best years of his life in prison. He decides he needs to take a break from his libertine tendencies. While doing this, he takes on the cause of a hopeless shipmate mercilessly bullied by nearly everyone who lays eyes on him. He decides to toughen this young man up so that he can stand on his own 2 feet and confront those that have been making his life miserable. Of course, there's not much of a story if things go as planned, so while the protagonist is conditioning his protege to be able to face his shipboard antagonists, he makes a serious miscalculation. He inadvertently lands his vulnerable subordinate within the crosshairs of a threat far beyond anything he is prepared to face. In the process of trying to improve his shipmate's life, he might have accidentally ended it. So, I needed a title for the story about American sailors prone to alcoholic excess and the violence that goes along with it. It took me about 6 months, but I landed on Tequila Vikings, and I loved it. Not only is it the title of my first book, but it's of the series itself. I also named my YouTube channel that as I was uploading the video trailer for it and really didn't have any better ideas, so it just kind of made sense to keep the name for the vlog post as well. That way I can at least get a little more mileage out of that banner I paid for that's been flashing in between scenes here. Anyway, my novel Tequila Vikings has been out since last December. It's got a rating of 4.9 stars on Amazon, which I am pretty proud of. It's a provocative, hilarious, and somewhat raw account of enlisted Navy life in the early 1990s, opening a window into a very colorful subculture that's been criminally underdocumented in American literature. Its sequel, Olongapo Earp, is brand spanking new and currently available in paperback on Amazon. You can pre-order the ebook now for only $2.99 versus its regular price of $4.99 when it goes live. The third book in the series, Neptune's Martyrs, is also now available for pre-order at a discount. It's slated for release this August. I've been working on this series since 2017, and the trilogy is finally complete. As much as labor of love as it was, I'm glad I'm now able to put it behind me and kind of bask in the afterglow of it. I'm beyond ready to start a new project, which I've already begun outlining. My next series will be a fictional account of the real-life American and Filipino guerrillas who assisted the Japanese on the island of Mindanao for the entire duration of World War II. It's a little-known story, yet it's really complex, with so many actors involved in trying to gain control of that particular parcel of real estate. You had the Japanese military and the Japanese civilian community that had been on Davao for generations. Some of those civilians were all for the invasion, others were against it. On the other side, you had the American guerrillas who had to fight not only the Japanese, but also General MacArthur's prima donna temper tantrums. You also had Filipino guerrillas, you had brigands, pirates, Moros who started the war fighting with the Japanese before turning against them. You had nurses, coast watchers, comfort women, OSS spies that were trying to work under MacArthur's radar because he didn't want them there either. It's a really complicated tale, and it's now shaping up as a sort of a cross between Game of Thrones and Band of Brothers, and I am really excited to dive into it. Well, I think that's enough for my first vlog. Before I leave, let me introduce you to a little writing aid of mine that I invented myself here. I call it the Guatemalan duck sucker. You take a mug like this one, you fill it with ice, and then you put it yay high with rum, and then you top it off with 7-Up and the juice of 1 lime, stir it together, and suck it down. The taste is to die for. By the way, for you 7th Fleet sailors out there, the flavor is very reminiscent of the Chuhai that Steve Morgan used to serve up at Shooter's Bar in Sasebo, Japan. So, cheers to the kisses we've snatched, and, well, I guess if you're a Tequila Viking, vice versa. Until next time. Before I go, let me leave you with a little bit of a trailer for my novel Tequila Vikings. I think you enjoy, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.